Hey again, welcome back to Daily Dose of Anime Recaps. In this video, we'll be covering episodes 64, 65, and 66 of the series Swallowed Star. As you know already, Swallowed Star is a cultivation series set in a world where humanity gets plagued by the mysterious RR virus, resulting in their, as well as the local animals, genes being upgraded and allowing them all to cultivate freely in order to grow stronger. In the previous episode, Luo Fung had scattered his several wind crystals in order to get the enemies off his tail, and therefore avoid being attacked by multiple elders at once. Such a move, no doubt, allows him to strategize and pick off all his enemies one by one, instead of being overwhelmed by numerous opponents at once. Later on, Mo Henderson realized how Bing Shan was stalling for time so that Luo Fung could make his escape after having confiscated multiple other wind crystals. The brute thus smothered Bing Shan ASAP before rushing off towards Luo Fung. Last but not least, we also witnessed Xing turn on his allies by amputating one of Far's arms as payback for having his lackey, named Maha, killed at her hands previously. With the flashbacks covered, let's dive headfirst into the next couple of episodes' storylines. But before that happens, don't you forget to eradicate the like and subscribe buttons, or else I'm gonna bribe website owners to block you from accessing any anime streaming sites online. Just kidding. Anyways, let's begin with the storytelling, shall we? In the initial scene, we witness Far being rescued by one of her lackeys, and the two soon escape by means of jumping into the river. The vengeful and bloodthirsty Xing, of course, gives chase, since only severing Far's head from the rest of her body will help assuage his anger. Before leaving, he makes good on his end of the deal by allowing Beast to retain 2 wind crystals for himself, since the latter had helped him locate Far just now. On the flip side, Luo Fung keeps being pestered by the God of War Palace's 4th elder named Esther, who's also a spiritual master on par with Luo Fung himself. As a result, both fight against one another using knives being manipulated by their respective spiritual energies. Initially, Luo Fung is of the mind that he can easily win the duel and break through the opponent's defense by utilizing his 4 extra knives. Alas, his hopes are watered down once Esther leverages his insane analytic abilities to predict and later deflect the trajectory of Luo Fung's excess weapons. In such a way, Esther is able to hold his ground and remain neck to neck against Luo Fung during the fierce competition. Soon afterwards, Esther himself gains the upper hand by utilizing his superior weaponry and skills to beat Luo Fung black and blue. For a while there, Luo Fung is barely able to cope with the enemy's quicksilver attacks. Furthermore, without the protection offered by his Black God suit's impenetrable defense, Luo Fung would have surely become skewered meat not long after. Esther then continues to press his advantage by utilizing his Eyes of the Abyss. It's basically a spiritual attack that hypnotizes the opponent for a while, messing with their mental circuits, and thus rendering them unable to defend themselves. Thankfully, Luo Fung is able to break free of the mental shackles in due time, and forge a defensive barrier to protect himself. Even so, Dude is sent flying further away and soon coughs up blood after crashing into one of the nearby mountains. Had his reaction been a bit slower, or even in case Luo Fung hadn't been equipped with a Black God suit at present, he would surely be toast by now. For the next couple of minutes, Luo Fung is forced to hide inside the nearby mountain and continue fleeing with his tail tucked between his legs. Even so, our protagonist here is unable to escape from Esther's X-ray vision and continues being bombarded by lethal laser beams. Luo Fung finally turns the tables by using a deceptive maneuver to outsmart his opponent. First, he baits the enemy by throwing all 3 crystals towards his direction. Next, our man here used his mountain drill to launch a sudden sneak attack on Esther, while the latter is busy reaching for the 3 treasures with greedy eyes. This finally forces Esther to use his trump card, which happens to be yet another spiritual attack. As a result, Luo Fung is once again forced into a trance. Meanwhile, Esther makes good use of the opportunity by confiscating Luo Fung's drill and is only an instant away from piercing his enemy's brain. Thankfully, Luo Fung experiences a eureka moment just then. Thing is, Esther's mental tricks basically link his mind together with that of the opponent for a while. This means that, being a spiritual master himself, Luo Fung can also leverage the opportunity to mount an assault on Esther's mind. Such a realization allows him to narrowly escape death while also gifting Esther with a nosebleed. Some Some distance away, Fa Er regenerates her previously amputated arm after drinking the water of life. Being fully healed, the female rushes towards the place where Esther and Luo Fung are clashing together. Meanwhile, the third elder, Mo Henderson, hurries over to reinforce Esther after having finally dumped the annoying Bing Shan beneath icy rubble. In such a way, Luo Fung soon ends up competing against the others in a 1 versus 3 battle and starts struggling to reclaim the 3 wind crystals. Hong appears out of the blue just then. Soon, he forces all others to stop dead in their tracks after unleashing his realm. In such a way, the treasure hunting competition is brought to an end, with the 3 wind crystals luckily still being within Luo Feng's grasp. In total, Luo Feng and his comrades managed to acquire 5 wind crystals by the end of the gruesome competition. As a result, they'll receive appreciation as well as their due share from Hong, especially Luo Feng himself, who had successfully monopolized 3 of those crystals, despite being outnumbered. Back at the base, the audience is baffled after learning of how Luo Feng had tied against the 3rd and 4th elders combined. This leads to him earning his spot as the 3rd strongest warrior on Earth, second only to Hong and Lei Shan. Finally, most everybody leaves the island, since the place has been fully explored by now, and there are probably few treasures left to unearth. However, both Luo Feng as well as Bing Shan remain behind, hoping to separately continue their search for more of those sparkly treasures. Meanwhile, a mysterious girl with devilish looks is seen hiding somewhere on the island. Said girl is apparently very interested in Luo Feng, and soon locks her cameras onto him, hoping to observe him in secret for a while. Furthermore, the extraordinary shard is quite heavy, weighing almost a ton, and is definitely denser than any other metal on Earth. Through another experiment, Luo Feng learns how his newfound treasure is even capable of piercing through the Black God Suit's ultra-solid defense. All clues point toward it being an alien treasure, instead of being something his fellow Earthlings had crafted. Luo Feng later quickly hides away the treasure safely, since it's far too risky publicizing his acquisition of such a heavenly treasure. Later on, Dude makes his way about 10,000 miles down the surface, hoping to rope in more of such treasures. Soon he becomes flabbergasted after encountering an alien spaceship that far down beneath the Earth. Unfortunately, Luo Feng fails to contact Hong or the others, thanks to the network being jammed all the way down here. Left with no other choice, he firms his resolve by venturing deep into the unknown territory all by himself. Soon though, Dude becomes overjoyed after discovering 289 of those precious wind crystals. Previously, only 42 such wind crystals were discovered in total by everybody else, including him. Now, Luo Feng almost feels unbelievable at having managed to rope in almost 300 of such treasures all at one place, and without having to expend any effort whatsoever. Next, he walks by several alien corpses, among whom quite a few possess humanoid figures, except for a few slight deviations, such as size difference or possessing a horn on top of their heads, etc. Anyways, despite knowing that each of them has been dead for years, Luo Feng still feels overwhelmed by their mighty presence. The experience is quite similar to what a mortal would feel when confronted by a godly being. Just then, a female teenager greets Luo Feng out of the blue. The sudden greeting makes Luo Feng jump in fright all of a sudden. After all, despite being a stranger living on an alien spaceship, the mysterious girl is still able to converse in his native tongue. What's more, she even called him by his name, meaning that she already knows who he is, and may have even set up the glass shard to bait Luo Feng into coming all the way down here. Soon afterwards, the girl displays her quicksilver speed by snatching away Luo Feng's sword in the blink of an eye. However, instead of attacking him and being hostile, the strange girl starts introducing herself. Turns out her name is Barbata, and she's sort of an artificial intelligence, one that has managed to evolve into a smart life after countless years of learning and upgrades, and thus possesses rational as well as perceptual thinking. Furthermore, Barbata is even able to leverage the spaceship's tech to give herself a fake physical appearance. Anyways, Barbata next explains how she originated from the once splendid-looking planet Alman. Sadly enough, her home planet ceased to exist long ago. It all happened 50 millennia ago, in the era of the Great War. Back then, both Barbata's master, Huyan Bo, as well as all 4 of his disciples, disciples were deprived of their lives thanks to the gruesome war. As a result, Barbata now hopes to find a successor for her esteemed master, as well as the planet Alman, where he ruled supreme. Of course, there's nothing but mere ashes left of her planet by now, but the enthusiastic Barbata isn't too concerned about that. Also, according to Barbata's line of thought, who else is more deserving of being hailed as the successor other than Luo Fung himself? After all, he's no doubt a cultivation prodigy here on Earth, and seemingly has the highest potential among all others. Just then, Hu Yanbo's corpse emerges from inside his metal coffin. Despite being an AI, Barbata displays avid emotional responses and therefore becomes quite touchy upon seeing the corpse of her late master. Next, she yells at Luo Fung to show his respects as well. Dude contemplates for a while. Later, he recalls how both his soaring shuttle as well as its operation manual originate from planet Alman. The shuttle has helped Luo Fung immensely before, and therefore its former owner truly deserves a kowtow from him. Seemingly satisfied by his response, Barbata soon starts elaborating the universe's power structure in detail to help broaden Luo Fung's horizons. Turns out there's more than 210,000 habitable planets in a galaxy such as the Milky Way. Interestingly, 8 such galaxies join together to formulate the elementary level silver-blue empire. Such a force is far beyond the scope of planet Earth. Heck, in case any random fleet from the empire comes looking for trouble someday, the Earth's locals won't even be qualified enough to detect its presence. To sum up, it would be a one-sided massacre, no doubt. Anyways, up next is the mid-tier Black Dragon Mountain Empire, consisting of 6,000 galaxies, as well as more than 500 elementary-level forces, such as the Silver-Blue Empire. Finally, humanity's biggest force, known as the Mega Mana Cosmic Empire, comes into the picture. It's in fact a high-tier force comprising more than 100 million galaxies, as well as around 1,000 mid-tier forces, such as the BDM Empire. All this data, as well as the shocking figures, make Luo Fung feel dizzy. After all, even an elementary-rank Silver-Blue Empire is a superpower in comparison to Palmer Earth, let alone humongous giants such as the Mega Mana Cosmic Empire. Meanwhile, Barbata's next words leave Luo Fung further in awe. Turns out, her master, Hu Yanbo, was respected even within the monstrous Mega Mana Cosmic Empire. On the contrary, the tiny Silver-Blue Empire was nothing but a mere ant in his eyes. Next, the AI girl starts explaining the universe's power hierarchy when it comes to warriors in detail. Turns out, the first 3 levels from primary to God of War are bundled together as the apprentice levels. Up next is the planet level where Earth's top cultivator, Hong, currently stands. What astonishes Luo Fung is how planet-level cultivators are barely qualified to roam the outer universe freely and without restrictions whatsoever. No wonder Hong is so humble, often referring to himself as a speck of dust when compared to the big bad universe. Anyways, after planet level comes the star level, and after that is the universe level, as per Luo Fung's knowledge. His shallow database disappoints Barbata, who teases him for being a frog at the bottom of a well. Next, the star level cultivators are considered okay on a small planet. Meanwhile, the universe level is considered as a decent place to be at, since only one such powerhouse usually emerges from each galaxy. Hence, the universe level cultivators are regarded as big shots, even in the wider universe. Interestingly, the universe level isn't the end of the cultivation journey as per Luo Fung's assumption. Instead, there's 3 more levels ahead, known as Domain Lord, Realm Lord, and finally, Immortals. As a reference, even an elementary level force such as the Silver-Blue Empire wouldn't dare mess with Domain Lord powerhouses. Meanwhile, a Realm Lord is capable of annexing a new galaxy into his kingdom at will. Finally comes the Immortal level, where Hu Yanbo, as well as all 4 of his disciples, previously stood. Later on, Luo Fung admits how this lecture on cosmic hierarchy has been a truly humbling experience. According to his train of thought, reaching even the Domain Lord level is almost hopeless for him in this life. Anyhow, Barbata even offers to help him perform an arcane technique known as Body Switch to help boost his cultivation speed up to even 100 times. As expected though, Luo Fung isn't willing to embrace such progress at the cost of losing his previous physique. After all, there's a high probability Zhu Jin would refuse to kiss him in case he ends up turning into a humanoid alligator-type creature, or something as ugly as that. Regretfully, the conventional path may take him nearly 100,000 years before finally reaching the Realm Lord level. That of course will happen only in case he manages to survive that long. After all, humans on average don't live more than 100 years. Barbata Barbata fetches him hope just then, claiming how each level jump boosts your longevity up to 10 times. Of course, Earthlings, such as Luo Fung and the others, are unaware of this minor fact, since it hasn't been long since the RR virus went on a rampage there, turning them into cultivators. Finally, with the basics covered, Barbata presents Luo Fung with two choices. One is to accept Hu Yanbo as his master, in order to receive his blessing in the form of numerous gifts. The second option is to decline the offer and walk away. However, it's not really a choice though, seeing as how Barbata threatens to kill him so long as he dares refuse her offer. Anyways, he's got nothing to lose by accepting a dead ghost as his master. Also, he will likely make huge profits after accepting a formal immortal as his master. With such a conclusion in mind, Luo Feng hurriedly swears an oath to become Hu Yanbo's disciple. This cheers Barbata up, who starts showering him with priceless gifts. First one happens to be a space ring capable of storing a ton of stuff. The devilish AI girl then declares the 289 wind crystals he acquired previously as his second gift. Finally, Barbata hands over an unknown circular gift as his third treasure. This wraps up the episode's end, and we're left pondering several mysteries.